and he does not wear a uniform. That's next when the Toyota A's on Deck show returns. Action 36, Cable 6. All right, what do Ryan Sandberg, Placido Polanco, Superman, and the TV show Big Brother have in common? They're all on the mind of Mark Ellis. Let's spend 2 minutes with the A's second baseman. All right, Mark Ellis on the clock. Here we go. Question 1. You've played every position except catcher in the infield. How did you settle on second base?
That's where they put me. I played shortstop.
Time, but only recently have they been so well incorporated with each other. Tonight we go.
Today's second baseman, Mark Ellis. Tonight, Brody, the ballpark takes us inside the numbers. Explain, Brody.
That we do, Mike. Baseball and math both have been around for a very long time, but only recently have they been so well incorporated with each other. Tonight we go inside the A's front office and show you how they make very important decisions based on statistics.
Baseball is indeed a complex game of math, from box scores and statistics to aerodynamics and physics.
Strike 3 call.
The amount of scientific calculations in this sport is incomprehensible.
Well, I never get to enjoy the games, partly because I'm charting them.
Meet Farhan Zaidi. He's the baseball operations analyst for your Oakland Athletics. He's what you might call the brains behind the brawn.
I chart every game down the clubhouse into a software program. We then use that software program to output the tendencies of players on the opposing teams. For instance, for a hitter on an opposing team, we know how often in an 0-2 count that hitter will chase a slider out of the strike zone. And obviously, if that hitter is more prone to chase that pitch, our pitcher is more likely to throw it.
Working in the front office, you might expect Farhan to have a heavy baseball background, but he doesn't.
Well, I'd worked a couple of years in management consulting right out of school. I'd worked at a fantasy website startup for a year also. And then after that, I was in grad school in economics at Berkeley. So yeah, nothing really directly related to baseball at all.
Using ingenious formulas, Farhan crunches the numbers for the green and gold. And he can tell you some pretty amazing things.
You can actually determine when a player in their career might be peaking.
Yeah, and actually, you know, that's another thing that's gotten a little bit more sophisticated in the last few years. Is it used to be people just wanted to come up with one age profile where you would say, all right, the peak age for a player is age 27 and or age 28, and after that he declines, and before that his performance is going to improve. Now I think people want to be a little bit more granular and say, well, what does a center fielder's age profile look like compared to a first baseman's age profile?
All of this science is designed to give Oakland a distinct advantage when it comes time to decide who to acquire, who to release, and who to play.
Do you put all your faith into numbers?
Well, I mean, you can project a whole lot of things, but that's why we play the game.
Manager Ken Maka says he uses all the advanced scouting reports, but he also has to make some decisions based on instinct.
One of the things I always look at is how is this player going to impact the game that night? Does he have the ability to do that? And you do that with some of the tools that you do have. Do you have plus power? If you're a pitcher, do you have, say, a plus arm? And if you've got some players in the lineup that can do that, Eric Chavez is a 5-time Gold Glove winner. They hit some balls down there. He's going to affect the outcome of the game. So for me, that's, I don't know if you can statistically put that into some type of formula, but that's what I look at.
No pun intended, but in recent years, the amount of baseball stats themselves have multiplied. For example, have you ever heard of runs created or equivalent average? Or what about secondary batting average?
Secondary batting average, I don't know if I've ever heard of that, or that's going to have to be explained to me.
It's kind of funny when you read quotes from players, like if it's a new stat that flatters them in some way, they like it. If it's a new stat that maybe doesn't work so well for them, they kind of disregard it. And, you know, that's kind of the way players like to think of these things. Obviously, for us, it's not a question of whether it makes a player look good or bad. It's a question of how close that is to helping us evaluate the player more accurately.
So if you learn nothing else from that story, at least you know that the A's put a whole lot of thought into each and every decision they make, Mike, on the baseball field, off the baseball field, everywhere.
I have to say, absolutely fascinating stuff. I had no idea about any of that.
You knew your equivalent average, didn't you?
I know. Last night, big win by the A's, bottom 9, walk up by Frank Thomas, showing a lot of emotion. This is a heated rivalry, Brody. I don't think it's going to end.
Both teams will tell you that that whole scuffle thing they had in April is over with, but I'll tell you what, a couple more one-game outcomes like last night, that rivalry will heat up even more.
And, oh, by the way, the pitcher who kind of started that whole thing, John Lackey, on the mound tonight, taking on Barry Zito. Should be a fun one. Brody, enjoy the All-Star game, okay?
Thank you, Mike.
Enjoy Pittsburgh. Stick around. You're just minutes away from first pitch. A's Angels right here on Action 36 Cable 6. See ya. Say, all right, Brody, see you in a minute. Coming up on the Toyota A's On Deck show, we'll introduce you to the A's secret weapon, and he does not wear a uniform. That's next when the Toyota A's On Deck show returns. Action.
Gutierrez and Travis Hafner. Big power from Hafner and Martinez. Johnny Peralta hits 5th, and Blake, Lofton, Shopik, and Barfield. On the mound for the Angels, they're wearing the red jerseys because Kelvin Escobar is the starting pitcher.
That's right, Kelvin, that ERA you're seeing at 2.99, that's second lowest in the league. That's counting his last start where he didn't make it 3 innings at all. But Kelvin Escobar, he has got a mid-90s fastball, slider, split-finger changeup. All those combinations work for him. He'll throw any one of those pitches at any time. He's got command, but he's got to work ahead, find that rhythm and timing. It was off in his last start, and so that's going to be important for him to get his mechanics soundly pat. Okay, he wants to bounce back from that outing, no doubt, but Escobar has the skills to do it, and the Angels would like to get this first game at 4. Defending behind him, we're going to highlight Jeff Mathis. Not only has he picked off base runners, 4 of them this season, but he's improving offense.